Hola, Truth Consciousness Seeds, from Cascada Café Retiro in Popayan, Colombia. Many of us are aware of the coming financial collapse, and a few are aware that we're entering the grand solar minimum or mini ice age. I listen to many YouTube channels. There's great information out there for those that are searching. Some have embraced the religion of preparedness and are taking preventive measures to ensure the survival of their families in the face of disaster. The dangers that are looming ahead are serious and may include World War III, permanent grid failure, pole shift, food scarcity, financial collapse, revolutions, etc. We're all afraid to die. Therefore, we learn to survive. But I still don't know how to live. As a good white sheep, I had chosen to ignore the prophets of doom and gloom and bury my head in the sand. When I reached the frequency of the black sheep, I found the courage to face and prepare for the impending apocalypse. 18 years later, my level of consciousness has changed. Now I know that I am not a reproducer, producing babies, but a creatrix. I took the decision to leave and make the transfer of power from my ego to my soul. I am now at the level of consciousness of the sovereign mare. I continue to have fears, but I no longer am in the sheep survival mode. Unlimited life is what I strive for, but I am far from being invincible. Invincibility will manifest itself when I reach the consciousness of the winged mare, where there is no more fear or ego. Lee and I continue to prepare for our physical survival. We're developing this coffee farm into a sacha inchi, avocado, and coffee farm. We are also planting corn, beans, yucca, and squash in the middle of the rows of sacha inchi. The farm has tons of banana and plantain trees, as well as lemon, orange, and other fruit trees. We will never starve in this environment, but this is not bringing me joy and peace. I now understand that this apocalypse which we're facing is necessary for my transition of consciousness and that of humanity. As I slowly die to survival, I awaken to real life. This process sounds pretty simple with words, but it's not easy. I must first cross the wall of death without dying. My ego cries and my soul rejoices as I discover life without death. This is an amazing adventure, but one that is extremely difficult. I can no longer fall back into the sheep mode. This would mean refusing my true identity. My transformation of consciousness would stop and I would die. No way. I remember back in July of 2012, Guy agreed to meet me in Montreal. I had to take a big decision. Guy told me that I can always choose to go back into the system, make a deal with the tax authorities, and come up with a payment plan. Guy knew what the consequences were for me if I did not make this easier choice of making a deal and going back. My ego mind was lying to me, like it always does, and I was not ready to hear the truth of what consequences I will face if I go forwards instead of backwards. I broke down in tears to such a level that Guy was concerned about my 2-hour drive back to Ottawa. Guy called me a few hours later to make sure I got home okay, and she asked me if I still going forwards with my decision of not making a deal with the authorities. 1 month later, I understood what consequences I had to face. By making the difficult decision along my journey, I am slowly healing. I do not regret for a second making these decisions, which have brought many challenges into my life since the end of 2011. The transitional period, which starts after crossing the wall, will last for years, maybe the rest of my physical life. I may not make it to the finish line and become an accomplished being, but at least I now live. I'm less and less in survival mode. Will I make it to life without fear? I trust that will, but it does not matter because the alternative survival filled with fear is unacceptable to me. Daily action allows my body to slowly transform. I consciously try not to live with expectations. I trust my true self, the creatrix. I know I create every detail of everything that surrounds me, and I create the healing sounds of a waterfall into my physical existence for the rest of this physical existence. Join me on this amazing journey. I trust I will be sharing this energy of healing sounds of a waterfall and infinite love with you soon. Evolution of Truth Consciousness Workshop at Cascada Cafe Retiro in Popayan, Colombia, February 3rd to 7th, 2020 in English, and March 2 to 6, 2020 in Spanish. Infinite love.